my name is David Roseberry, and I have the privilege of being the provincial canon for mission for the Anglican Church in North America. And my assignment over the last 6 months has been to kickstart a number of ministries that we call affectionately Matthew 25. As you know, Matthew 25 is the chapter in the book of Matthew where Jesus preaches his very last sermon. And in his last sermon, he talks about what it's going to take to be welcomed and to be honored in the kingdom to come. And he doesn't pull any punches, but he says, in effect, when you minister to the poor, when you reach out and provide clothing for the naked or food for the hungry or visit people in prison, when you do it to one of these, the least of these, that is the lowest rung of society, so to speak, then you've done it to me. And that idea is the organizational idea behind Matthew 25. How can we, as Anglicans, look around the church and encourage and sponsor the kind of work that you're about to hear? So I'm joined here by Chris and Carol Herman, and I'm going to let them tell you their story because it's fascinating, and they have built a church in one of the most unlikely of spots. So welcome, Chris and Carol. Thanks for agreeing to be part of this interview just for a few minutes. Chris, let me start with you. What is it that you do, and what's it called? It's got a very interesting name.
Well, we're from St. Lazarus Mission, and we, to the best of our ability, enable the local church found inside a nursing home, actually 3 nursing homes, to function as the church by injecting the missing ingredients that are necessary to enable the body of Christ to thrive.
So in other words, you have a church, you've developed a church in not 1, not 2, but 3 different nursing homes. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And you both, 2 of you felt called to this, as I remember the story, almost from the beginning of your marriage, Carol. Ministry to the weakest and to the oldest really became part of what you guys did, and you exposed your children to. Is that right?
Yes, sir. We started our first Christmas as man and wife, and all we did was Christmas caroling. We brought the church into the nursing home.
Right.
And from there, the activities director latched onto that and started calling us in for different activities. And we started coming in and visiting people on a regular basis, and we developed relationships. And that eventually grew into providing church services about 5 years down the road. And we've been doing that now for 25 years.
Wow. So when the idea of Matthew 25 came, which is an idea that there's some money that would be available for the kind of ministry that you have imagined here, and you made the application, tell us about the hope that you had going into that. What did you dream being able to do with the resources that would be available to you through Matthew 25?
Well, we realized that we were limited in ourselves physically with how many nursing homes we could affect. And so we've endeavored to teach others how to do what we do. And that's to help Christians finish well the remaining hours of their lives in a nursing home, and to minister to their families and to those who don't know Christ in a nursing home. And by teaching others, they can extend the ministry.
And so what you're able to do, as I recall, you were able to put some more hours into it, improve the website, minister more fully in this place. And Chris, you had a sort of a wonderful way of describing the impact of this church in the nursing home. You said it was booming. And then you talked about the kind of the conversion rate of people who come to faith. Would you say more about that?
Sure. It's kind of, as you were kind of talking with me, using the word booming in a nursing home is a strange word, but we've been tracking for a number of years how God has literally made the field so white for harvest that, oddly as it sounds, about half the people who come into the nursing home who don't know Christ literally become Christians and come to know him, profess love in Jesus, and actually on their deathbeds profess knowledge and love for Jesus Christ. And so if we think about it, I didn't tell you this early on, but if we think about it, there's about 128 million people alive today in the United States that will spend some time in a nursing home. And if you and I look around on the street, that's a lot of people that don't know Jesus.
Right.
And we need to be there. We need to be there for them.
The church needs to be there.
Yeah, and these issues of life and death are not academic any longer, are they?
That's right.
They're very much present. And so having the impact of the Matthew 25 Fund in this ministry, aside from provide what you had hoped it would, what else did applying for these funds and receiving these funds, what else did that do for St. Lazarus Mission?
Oh my. Literally within just a few months, it is as though the stamp of approval that Matthew 25 and having somebody say, this ministry is worthwhile. The gospel, Jesus's last sermon is being done. What's happened is whole denominations are literally, who aren't even Anglican, are saying, we want to do this too.
Wow.
The director of mission for the Wesleyan Church, for example, has become a good friend of mine. And he's saying, man, we got to do this. And we've got connections in Australia, and they're saying, golly, this is amazing. We've got to connect parish with nursing home ministry in Australia. And we've got people in Canada that are saying, golly, we're 10 years ahead in terms of population growth. We got to do this.
Right.
And here we are, because of Matthew 25, talking about these things, but not only talking, but actually doing stuff about it.
Right.
So thank you.
What's really awesome is that the two of you have secular jobs, real jobs out in the world, and yet this has been such a burning passion in your heart. And it's not just that an opportunity came up and you took it. This has been part of who you are for a long time as husband and wife and as a family. And Chris, obviously your bishop saw this in you and got you ordained a deacon and priest. And I dare say that when it comes time to, look at the churches and how they're expanding, you may be one of the very, very few priests in the Anglican Church in North America that has a satellite church ministry, because you've got 3 churches that are under your leadership. And I'm so glad that Matthew 25 was able to be there to help and encourage you. And I'll use this as an opportunity to thank you for being such responsible stewards, and then providing this brief interview to encourage other people to apply. And let me say this to those of you who are watching this video. Matthew 25 is being repurposed, and we have a vision to start ministries along the lines of what Jesus spoke about in his last sermon. And so if you just stay close to the website, Matthew25i.org, you'll see that soon enough there'll be an application process, and we'll help guide you through these next steps. So thanks for watching. Thank you, Chris and Carol, and God bless you and St. Lazarus Mission. And I have to say, it's one of the most interesting names of a church I've ever run across. Probably as sobering and as truthful as as the reality that you guys face on a daily and weekly basis. So anyway, God bless you both, and thank you for watching.